We're close to 100 degrees here in Austin, but fortunately it's cooling off a bit. And we have a rematch in the circles of the Game 1 starters, Tegan Cavan for Texas.
And Tegan Cavan came away with a big relief appearance yesterday, and she's thrown in both of these super regional games here in Austin. Her last 7 starts, though, Pam, have been a little shaky.
Yeah, certainly not what we are used to seeing from her premier pitcher, a sophomore out of West Des Moines, and we are underway. Clemson wearing the all-purples trimmed in orange. Let's take a look at our Capital One starting lineups. Alex Brown starts things off, and you have your eye on Julia Noller.
Yeah, she's the leader in doubles and a solid RBI producer in that 3 spot.
Yeah, this is a Clemson team that won the ACC tournament for the very first time this year, and they are hitting .328 on the season, led the ACC in doubles. Alex Brown against Cavan. She was 6 for 10 in the Super Regionals, all of them singles. Here's your scout on Tegan.
Well, she'll touch 70 miles an hour, throws her rise over 50% of the time and uses it to all levels, but also has a drop ball, so between the two, 12 inches of vertical break.
Wow, that's quite significant as the count goes to 3-1 on Brown. And Cavan was really good out of the pen last night. 5 innings, 5.2 innings rather, and that is a 5-pitch walk. And you mentioned, Jenny, that Cavan in her last 7 starts, last night good, but she was out of the pen, but in her last 7 starts, these are not typical numbers for her.
No, she's thrown better than this all season long. It's that 7.33 ERA as a starter that has me concerned. Those last 7 games have been against the toughest competition of the year.
Playing in the SEC for the first time this year. And now Maddie Moore, one of the senior leaders on this team. Had a 2-run home run last night in Game 2, but when Cavan came in, Tegan struck her out twice last night.
I was just really impressed with the way that Cavan took the circle in relief. She seemed a little bit more aggressive in the circle, and you could see in the beginning of the game right here, she's still feeling out the strike zone, trying to figure out where the top and bottom will be to get the called strike.
Got a very good catcher behind the plate in Reese Atwood, one of the best hitters in the country, leading the nation in RBIs. And she hit a home run last night as well. 2-1 now to Moore. Is that a swing? Nope.
Again tonight, Pam, we've got another group of burnt orange umpires that are going to let their opinions be known.
Great fans here. We've had capacity crowds all 3 nights, even with that hour-and-a-half rain delay on Thursday night when we got started. Moore swings through.
Well, and I wish I could even call it a rain delay. It was actually a lightning delay, and because of that, you had to clear the stadium. It's the rise ball that was a difference maker for Cavan. She used it so effectively yesterday in that relief appearance, and right now pushes it to a full count.
Gone to 3-ball counts on both of the batters that she has faced so far. And Texas taking on a Clemson team that will definitely take their walks. They are building on their team record already with Brown leading off with the walk. Cavan's only walked 2 people so far in the Supers. Brown over there at first. Moore takes a hack and sends it back.
Well, you mentioned those free passes, Pam. She's had 45 walks on the year in 171 2/3 innings pitched. That's a very low number, but you're right. Free passes are what hurt her in the Game 1 opener. And here tonight, leads off the game with a walk. Just not characteristic of what we're used to out of Cavan.
8th pitch of the at-bat, also close but called a strike. And Cavan strikes out Moore for the 3rd time in 2 days.
I tell you what, that right there, competitive pitch in a tight spot. That's how you know Cavan is feeling it. Nice little change piece, outside corner. Early in the game, you cannot leave it up to the umpire.
So a walk and now a strikeout brings up Noller. Just a sophomore, and she doesn't waste any time. Really good center fielder out there, and Caden Henry got to the ball quickly, so runners on first and second with just one out. Take a look at the Texas defense, and we've seen the changes after game one when Stewart struggled at shortstop.
Yeah, you'll notice Stewart now in left. The Good was the second baseman in game one, moved her to shortstop. Bennett was the left fielder, moved her to second. That's been the key change defensively to get the game 2 win.
Another first pitch swing, this time by Cintron trying to turn the double, but Mitchell couldn't get her foot down in time. The throw made her leap up, so runners on the corners now with 2 away. Brown, or actually, it looks like we might get a challenge because Noller is staying put over there at second.
Yeah, it's very clear that first base, Jolie Mitchell was off the bag. Your priority as a first baseman is to get the ball first. So each coach has 2 challenges. Whether they win the challenge or lose the challenge, there's only 2 for the entire game. So she's safe at first. The challenge is actually happening on the play over at second base. Pretty early for a challenge already, Pam, but Coach Rittman not wanting any runs, or not wanting to take any runners off the base pass if possible this early in the game. So they're looking at obstruction over at second base with a ground ball to Good. They're saying that there was obstruction. I do not see the obstruction. I think that is a great play by the second baseman Stewart to touch, get back out of the base path. That looked pretty textbook to me. Over at first base, Mitchell has to jump to get to the ball, but when she comes back down, does not land on the bag. So very clearly safe over at first.
And that was not the challenge. The challenge was at second. As you mentioned, Bennett playing second with that reshuffle after game one. Mitchell making the right play. Got to make sure you secure the ball.
Yeah, your priorities as a defender is ball first, bag second.
After further review, the runner at second base is out. That's Clemson's first challenge.
So Coach Rittman burns a challenge in the very first inning. So it does leave runners on the corners. Now with 2 away, and Abby Vieira in the batter's box, and now Mike White, the head coach for Texas, comes out to have a chat with our home plate umpire, Ron Burkhart. We're off to a slogging start tonight.
Well, there's so much on the line, and you can see both of these coaches wanting to find every avenue to be successful. I'm not sure what Mike White is arguing at this point. Even got assistant coach Steve Singleton out of the dugout to have a conversation as well.
Mike White and John Rittman know each other very well. Coach White's daughter recruited and played at Stanford for a couple of years, and Mike White at Oregon when Coach Rittman was at Stanford, now in a 5th full season at Clemson.
Well, that conversation by Coach White is actually, they were talking about taking it to obstruction on the throw going over to first base because she didn't get down to slide until very late. But the problem with that is, as a second baseman, you've always been taught to clear yourself of the base path, make the throw hard and through, and if it hits the runner, then you go ahead and go to the challenge.
So Vieira trying to come up with a big 2-out base hit. Abby hitting .333 in the Super Regional with a run driven in. And there's the aforementioned Mr. Rittman. What a great job he has done starting this program from scratch.
Yeah, the program began 6 years ago, but if you remember, that was in COVID. And so with that shortened season, the first full season happening in 2021, John Rittman able to take each of his full season teams all the way to the postseason.
Good at short, flips it over to Bennett to end the threat. Clemson moves 2 on as we head to the bottom of the first. Here in Austin, Texas, whoever wins this game goes to the Women's College World Series. Clemson left a couple of runners on in the first inning. They have now left 22 on in 2 games plus 2 innings, and it's like a broken record, right? Reese Basinger gets the start for Clemson.
You're right. Reese Basinger, the everyday starter in the postseason. She and Brooke McCubbin have combined for every game starting back at the ACC tournament. They stick with that plan and put Basinger back in the circle again tonight.
Take a look at our Capital One starting lineups for this very formidable Texas lineup. They are second in the nation with a .359 team batting average. Maloney leads things off. Leanne Good really living up to her name in the Supers.
Yeah, Good is good. Her home run got the scoring started in Game 2. Maybe the most important part, though, was moving her to shortstop after Game 1, and that solidified the defense.
And Katie Stewart had struggled there, and now she's been playing for the last 2 games, including tonight in left. Good over at short, and you know better than anyone that how important it is to have a solid middle infield defense. And here's Maloney to start things off against Basinger. She is 5 for 9 in this Super Regional.
She's just swinging a really hot bat. She was 7 for 12 in regionals before this Super, and she's fast. She sets the tone. She sees a lot of pitches in that leadoff slot.
Just 11 extra base hits, no home runs. Collins, the freshman, throws her out to begin this night for the Texas hitters as we take a look at the defense now behind Basinger, the era of the veteran catcher. Basinger, big fan of hers, and Maddie Moore, the demon over there at second base.
Yeah, in her senior season has just evolved and matured into maybe the best second baseman in the country.
Yeah, here's Caden Henry, who had a big Game 1, a little quiet last night by her standards, but an energizer, a terrific defensive center fielder. 4 for 10 in the Supers, 3 of those hits coming in Game 1. And if she gets on, her speed is a game changer.
It is 30 stolen bases on the year. She had a stolen base in regionals, but has not had one here in the Supers.
She's behind Basinger 0-2. Henry, just a sophomore, second team All-SEC, and your scout now on Basinger.
She's going to throw 63 to 64 miles an hour, very spin-focused pitcher. She is not going to overpower you with velocity, but she's going to mix her speeds, which makes it difficult to hit off of. The transfer coming in from Winthrop just this season, trying to fill the shoes of 3 big arms that graduated out of the program last year.
Yeah, Basinger, in fact, has 0 strikeouts in this regional. Here's Maddie Moore flashing the leather.
Yeah, she's told us before the Super Regional started that she likes defense more than hitting, which is something I cannot relate to. But she said she would much rather take 300 ground balls than hit for 30 minutes. And, well, shows right there. Nice little jab step, second out.
That made it look easy to get the always dangerous Henry, who I'm sure was thinking double as soon as she made contact. Mia Scott, the number 3 hitter, has 3 hits this weekend, including a home run and a triple.
The story of transfers all across the country is they typically have played against the school that they then attend, and that's what happened with Basinger. She pitched so well against Clemson, caught the eye of John Rittman. There's that changeup. That's going to be the pitch that she throws all night long. She is not trying to overpower these hitters with speed and velocity out of the circle. She's going to nip corners. She's going to spin that changeup, drop it in for strikes.
That's pounded to it for a solid single into right field. So Scott's on base as Reese Atwood comes up.
Mia Scott is just so good. She leads the team in average. And before the Super Regional, she had not struck out since April 19th against LSU.
And now Atwood, who is as hot as anybody, hitting .550 in the postseason. That includes a couple of games at the SEC, the regionals last week, and so far here. And we saw her hit a home run yesterday that barely cleared the wall, but in that same at-bat, she hit one that was barely foul a long, long way down the left field line.
Yeah, short hopped the building out and left, which sits 280 feet from home plate. Before the game, it looks like her mom was having a little bit of a struggle to ride the Longhorn steer.
Yeah, maybe second thoughts too, but she got up there.
And then needed help getting back down.
And her mom, her heart fluttered for a second there as she hit that one hard, but it was right at the left fielder Johnson, allowed out. Texas strands a runner, and we are scoreless after one.
I mean, this ball was well struck, but right at Kylie Johnson in left field. We're still scoreless.
Will Texas get back there for the second year in a row?
It all comes down to tonight. They forced the if necessary game with the win in game 2. They've got their ace in the circle. She is doing so well coming off that relief appearance last night. So strong in the circle. That's exactly what she needs to harness here today to keep Clemson's bats quiet.
Clemson has never been to the Women's College World Series. This is their third Super Regional, had not even won a game in a Super until game 1 of this series. So here's Marion Collins to lead things off. She has 3 hits in this Super Regional. She had a big weekend last weekend, hitting .500 in the postseason. Part of this freshman class that has surprised a lot of people.
Well, they had big shoes to fill. I mean, when you step in trying to take over for names like Mackenzie Clark, Valerie Cagle, Aaliyah Logaleo, Millie Thompson, those are some iconic names in the Clemson program that have to step up quickly to perform, and they've done so this year. I'm so impressed with the way that Marion Collins has been able to take over that shortstop position and swing the bat with authority.
Takes the 2-1 pitch into the netting. Clemson finished second in the regular season in the ACC after a strong finish, and was able to beat the top seed and regular season champion Florida State Seminoles in the championship game.
Well, it was during that stretch that they also beat South Carolina in a midweek. Marion Collins had two home runs off of South Carolina. But goes down with the changeup. Man, that's a nasty pitch. Tegan Kavan is so good at just being able to take control of a game and stifle an offense with that pitch down and away.
So that is the second strikeout for Kavan, and here comes another true freshman in Taylor Pipkins. 2 for 9 so far in this Super. She was the MVP of that ACC tournament.
Painting that corner so well tonight. After that leadoff walk to start the game, she settled in quickly, been able to find the edges of the strike zone and just pepper them.
Kavan with over 200 strikeouts on the season. Trying to pick up her third tonight. That was That was some nifty glove work there by Atwood.
I hate to say it, it was a little dramatic. With nobody on, there's no need to block it up.
Cool.
But I like that little flair.
I like that.
Why wear it when nobody's on?
Pipkins, go ahead, pardon me.
And the way that Atwood back behind the plate has played so solid. She has not allowed runners to steal off of her, but the way that the Clemson freshmen have been able to produce this year, look at that, 43% of the home runs coming off those freshman bats.
Another 1-2. Pipkins spoils it again. Vaughn's 30th pitch of the night. It was also sent out of play. In the first 2 games of this Super Regional, one start and 1 relief appearance for Kavan. She had thrown over 200 pitches. And here's her 8th just of this at bat. Play for good, solidifying that shortstop position, 2 away.
And that's just the biggest change that Texas made. They made the change actually during game 1, but it was too late. There was too much ground to make up, and the way that Good came in so confident and controlled with great range and solid throws across the diamond, impressive show for her at shortstop and the needed change for Texas.
Now Kylie Johnson, who has been struggling at the plate in this NCAA tournament. Big swing and a miss. 5 strikeouts in the first 2 games of this Super Regional. Struck out 5 times in the regional last week. Did have a home run. Peel down, no swing.
In her sophomore season, Coach Rittman actually made her a starter earlier in the year, but those hiccups at the plate pulled her out of the starting lineup, re-emerged later in the year, but still learning how to be disciplined at the plate. Just so susceptible to that ball up in the zone. It's been a bunch of strikeouts on the rise ball for her. You mentioned it, last night struck out 4 times, 2 of them looking, 2 of them swinging, and those swinging strikeouts were up in the zone on the rise.
Laid off of that high pitch. Vaughn throwing quite a few pitches so far in this inning. As it started to cool off here now that the sun is setting. It's only 90 degrees with a feel-like temperature of 97.
It's felt like good softball weather. Today when I stepped out of the hotel, I realized today has a different feel.
It's a little blasty feel to it. And that's a blast for Kavan. Clemson goes down in order for only the 3rd time in this Super Regional, and that's 3 Ks already for Kavan.
Kavan is focused in the circle. That rise ball sits right above the belt, but because it started so low, she gets another strikeout.
Another good crowd here in Austin to see who will get to the Women's College World Series and play the winner of tomorrow's game between Georgia and Florida. A lot of drama earlier today in the Super Regionals. So far, scoreless as we go to the bottom of the 2nd, and Jolie Mitchell leading things off. Jolie with a couple of doubles including a 2-run double, a big one last night, and a game that went 10 innings.
Yeah, game 1 had that 90-minute lightning delay. Coming into tonight, in 2 games, these 2 teams have played 7 hours and 57 minutes of softball.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, you're supposed to play in about a 2-hour window. We've played in 4 of them.
So when you factor in, see that 90-minute weather delay, and then we went 10 innings last night. Two-two. Mitchell, long trip, but foul. Man, we've seen some blasts this weekend.
The longest hits we've seen are taking out the windows at the bottom of that building across the street. Hopefully they are shatterproof glass, because they're definitely hitting the wall out there.
Mitchell with 14 home runs, 60 RBIs. That is 3rd on the team behind Atwood, who leads the country, and Katie Stewart, who bats behind her. Mitchell good at bat, works the leadoff walk. Super Regionals, Ole Miss beat Arkansas yesterday. Arkansas up 2-0 in the 2nd right now, and UCLA was trailing 4-1 against South Carolina today, going into the bottom of the 7th, and they got a walk-off home run, a 2-out, 2-run home run to win by 1, and then Georgia able to win today to force a game 3 tomorrow, and that gets by Johnson. Mitchell is being held at 3rd. Katie Stewart delivers the first pitch she saw.
In night 1, Katie Stewart could not find a hit, but I think it was the miscues at shortstop that just got into her head and affected her at the plate. Tonight attacks early in the count with a runner on first base and absolutely lights it up all the way to the wall. Takes kind of a funky bounce to get past Kylie Johnson and left. Can't do anything about it. Easy stand-up double, and now 2 Longhorns in scoring position.
First base is open now with nobody out for Leanne Good. Two-run home run last night for the Longhorns. It's that changeup again.
It's a good take with a 1-0 count. You don't want to give up yourself that early in a count. Force her to bring it back to you, but until then, sit velocity and try to put a charge in one and get it through the infield to score a run.
Defense playing in on the corners, and it goes off the glove of Alex Brown. 2 runs will score for Texas is good. Slides into second.
And that's the risk you take when you've got somebody at the plate that can lay down short game and a runner at 3rd. You have to be able to defend the bunt. However, that hard shot right at Alex Brown, she didn't have enough time to react. A fieldable ball if she was back 10 feet, but that close to the plate could not get her glove up in time. Texas attacking early.
And still nobody out. And the Longhorns with 50 wins on the season. Scoring first has been good for them. And this is, if you're a Longhorn fan, especially Jen, because the top 4 in this lineup have done most of the damage offensively. And here we are seeing the 5, 6, 7 hitters producing in this inning.
Yeah, the top of the lineup is hitting 500 for Texas. 4 through 9 was hitting 270 coming into tonight. So with the way that they are producing here, I think we might have John Rittman look to make a change in the circle pretty early.
This is the 9th straight game that Reese Basinger has started. And he has given her a hug, and she is indeed coming out of the game. And he is not going to go with Brooke McCubbin. That breaks a 9-game streak of the Basinger-McCubbin combination. Instead, it is Macy Cintron who's the starting DP and also does some pitching. She's in the circle when we come back. So Reese Basinger has been lifted after 1 inning plus 3 batters in favor of Cintron, who comes in to face Vanessa Quiroga, the DP tonight. Still nobody out, 2 runs in. And over at second base, it's Good. Who was credited with a single. And went over to second on the throw. As we take a look at Cintron's number, she hasn't pitched much.
Well, no, she hasn't had to. With the way that Basinger and McCubbin have thrown all year, Cintron has been able to just be ready for these moments. She's a freshman hitting pitcher. She's not going to blow it by anyone with velocity. She has a simple arsenal of just rise, drop, screw, and change, and is learning the difference between being a pitcher and a thrower here in Division I softball.
Last appearance, April 27th at Georgia Tech. For a third of an inning. The last full inning pitched by someone other than Basinger and McCubbin was the day before that, April 26th, when Olivia Duncan pitched 1 inning. So it has been that combination, Basinger and McCubbin, since the ACC tournament. Basinger making an early exit tonight. The ACC Pitcher of the Year. And it's the bottom of the lineup that has done the damage.
There's that pitch down in the zone. It's not that she pulled the string on that, but it is a velocity change going from Basinger to Cintron. And that bullet spin tells me when you can see like a dot in the ball as it's heading from the pitcher to the plate, when you can see that defined circle, it usually means that the ball does not have a spin that's going to cut the air and make the ball break. Becomes a very hittable pitch, but that one, she was ahead of it.
The first out of the inning for Clemson. There's the number 9 hitter, Katie Bennett, playing second base. One for 6 so far with a walk in this Super Regional. Now behind 1 and 2.
And Pam, I don't think we need to worry. McCubbin will be coming in later tonight. I doubt that Cintron will finish this game. She's just coming in to mix up what's going on in the circle. There's McCubbin in the dugout. She will make an appearance tonight.
Foul ball. Cintron actually with the lowest batting average against on the Clemson staff. Opponent's hitting just .211 against her. Just 61 innings on the year coming into this appearance. Into left field, playing short, Kylie Johnson for out number 2. Turns it over to the top of the lineup. And Ashton Maloney.
Maloney, just the best hitter for average in this lineup, doing such a good job of continually putting the ball in play, letting her wheels work, has the second highest batting average coming into tonight, hitting .435.
And that's what she does, puts the ball on the ground, and that is going to lead to another run, and because Maloney has wheels, she motors all the way to second.
And while I like aggressive defense, that throw from Brockenbrough into the plate makes no sense to me, knowing that Ashton Maloney is going to advance from first to second on that. She did not have a chance at the plate, keep Maloney at first base. Texas just rolling right now.
3 runs are in. Caden Henry lined out. And Maddie Moore climbed the ladder to grab it against Basinger. And this is the first time that Texas has seen Cintron. RBI single for Maloney makes it 3-0.
Dirty pitch. Dirty pitch. You gotta be able to attack this, but look at that tight spin. That's what fools the eye, making you think it's coming in with velocity, and then it just drops in right for a strike.
That's out of play. So Reese Basinger, the top 4 hitters that have done most of the damage for Texas. She got 3 outs. Got Maloney, Henry, and Atwood in the first inning. Scott singled off of her, and as we mentioned, it's been the bottom of the lineup here. And now Maloney at the top doing the damage and chasing Basinger. Cintron with a couple of strikeouts. Coming on in relief, but Texas gets 3 runs and chases the starter.
Good, looking good. The 2 RBI hit. Texas up 3-0.
Thank you, Mark, and welcome those of you. Congratulations, those of you who watched Oregon and Liberty. Congrats to Melissa Lombardo and the rest of the Ducks. They are going to the World Series, and the winner of our game will be going to the World Series as well. Pam Moore, Jenny Dalton Hill joining you. The winner of this game will get the winner of tomorrow's decisive Game 3 between Georgia and Florida. Georgia forcing that Game 3 earlier today, and this is what you just missed in the bottom of the second inning for Texas.
Yeah, bottom of the second, it was a big hit by Katie Stewart, a double that scored Jolie Mitchell, and then Leanne Good coming away with a hot shot down the corner. Little slap bunt, got through, played it another one. We're sitting at 3-0, Texas on top.
Leanne Good playing shortstop the last couple of games and coming through with the plate already. She's got her uniform all nice and dirty as we go to the top of the third inning. Reese Basinger only lasted 1 inning plus 3 batters and gave up those 3 runs, all of them earned, and it was the bottom of the order for Texas that did the damage. Coming in to this game, the top of the order has been lethal, and the bottom of it, after you get 1 through 4, has been a little shaky. Not so far tonight.
No, and Texas has come away with the bottom of the order producing since yesterday.
Rock and roll thrown out by Collins to start the third inning. Or pardon me, I flipped the book. Thank you, it's good.
I mean, she's good, but she can't play on both sides.
She probably could if she tried. Pardon me. Collins in the dugout, getting ready to play shortstop on the other side. And Reese Basinger started the game, and she has been so good for this team, the ACC Pitcher of the Year, starting her 9th straight game, but got through the first 4 okay, but it was in the second inning when she started giving up hits. Leadoff walk to Mitchell, the double is by Stewart, the single by Good. And now she's in the dugout cheering her team on. Only a 3-run deficit, but Tegan Caban getting the start. She and Basinger faced off against each other. They were starters in game 1. Caban took the loss, but Tegan was really good last night in that 10-inning marathon. She pitched 5 2/3 innings and shut out Clemson. Alex Brown hitting leadoff. One of the seniors on this team. She walked and was stranded back in the first inning when Clemson left 2 on, and that's been a problem for the Tigers in this Super Regional. They have left 22 runners on base in the first 2 games plus 2 innings of this Super Regional. And a 3-1 count for Brown with Maddie Moore on deck. Taking all the way.
That beautiful rise ball. She starts it at different levels and is able to get that called strike at the top of the zone. It's an important pitch for her because she mixes it well with her drop. So hard for a hitter to attack both rise and drop mixed with that changeup.
Full count, that's popped up, very playable for Bennett, 2 outs.
Last night, Tegan Cavan came on in relief. Her starts have been shaky, but she came in with power in the middle of the game, came in the 5th inning and shut down the Clemson offense. They did not score again. A lot of energy, 7 strikeouts. Gets the start here in Game 3.
Yeah, and something really, she needed a bit of a shot in the arm, if you will, after losing Game 1 when she gave up 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned in just 5 innings, taking the loss. And as you mentioned, Jenny, in her last 7 starts, an ERA of 7.33 for Cavan. So far, so good in this one. Maddie Moore, the 2nd highest average for Clemson, the best power numbers. One of the seniors, hoping this is not their last game. It's popped up back behind the plate.
And while we've already seen pitching relief happen for Clemson early in this game, Tegan Cavan is an arm that can go the distance. She's got 14 complete games on the season, and I would anticipate that Mike White will ride her arm through the entirety of this game.
She's ahead of Moore, 1 and 2. Good. Could not field it cleanly. Maddie Moore is a 2-out base runner. Should be a hit, you think?
Yeah, she had to go a long ways to try to glove it up, and it was sharply hit, right up the middle. Could Good make that play? Yes, she can. Did she? No. But it'll go down as an error on the shortstop.
Well, that's a tough one. That's a toughie. Noller steps in, and that ends a string of 7 straight Tigers being retired by Cavan. He allowed some base runners in the first inning, got out of it unscathed. Here's Noller, who walked in her first at bat tonight against Cavan. John Rittman, ACC Coach of the Year in 2021, which was the first full season for Clemson. They won the regular season title, and this year, their very first ACC tournament championship.
Quite the resume in such a short amount of time.
Starting this program after a great career at Stanford. He took them to 16 straight NCAA tournaments, a couple of Women's College World Series. Jessica Mendoza, one of the players who went a long way with John Rittman into the World Series. And now he's trying to get Clemson into the series for the first time. And this is really remarkable. Regular season championship your very first year. You only lose 8 games. And here they are 1 win away from a World Series in their 5th full year.
Well, and the crazy thing is, you mentioned it, won in 2021 the regular season ACC title, and in 2025 won the ACC championship. So for them, they have had a quick rise to success, but have not been able to make it to Oklahoma City just yet.
Won Game 1 on Thursday night, dropped last night's contest that went 10 innings, and down 3-zip in this one. 3-1 pitch on the way to Noller. And Reese Atwood holds it for a long time, and it's called a ball.
And And that one was low. We've been seeing the top of the strike zone be called a little bit higher than what normally is called across the country. I think it's a great strike, but this one is low. While the umpires in Burn Orange don't agree, that one is definitely low. Atwood is known to receive and pull into the strike zone, so the fans are going to think it's a strike. But I am on board with that being a ball.
Yeah,
Too low.
did. Yeah, I agree. And Atwood did pull it up quite high, as the pitching coach now is out to talk to Cavan. It's Patty Ruth Taylor in her second year, calls the pitches and handles Mike White's pitching staff. The head coach for them is a world-class pitcher on his own right, the New Zealand native.
There's just so much emotion in tonight's game, Pam. I don't think you can overstate the fact that every pitch comes with a consequence. And in this moment, you can't give up pitches. You can't give out strikes. You can't give up outs. You've got to make sure that you are focused on every pitch, because one little hiccup could mean the difference between the end of your season and going to OKC.
So with 2 outs, an error, and a walk brings up Cintron, who was the starting DP and now moving into the pitching role and batting cleanup. There is some activity in the Texas bullpen. It's Cambria Salmon, the freshman who started yesterday, which surprised us.
But she was very serviceable in the beginning of that game.
That is a smart play by Mia Scott to let it go foul. Jenny Dalton Hill, with your what to watch for in this game.
Well, Clemson's made 2 errors in each of the two first games, so their bats have shown up, but the hiccups defensively have opened the door for Texas. Texas, on the other hand, had 4 for 9, very quiet in Game 1. Game 2, the bats showed up at the bottom of the lineup, and that production evened up the series to push us to a Game 3.
And it was the bottom of the lineup that did most of the damage to get this 3-0 lead. Cintron with the single. And at the plate, Maddie Moore is called safe. I anticipate a review.
I'm speechless. I thought for sure she was going to say that, or he was going to call her out. It's a beautiful throw by Stewart out there and left. She gives way to the plate. There is an open, the face of the plate is open for advancement. She fields it perfectly, but the hand looks like it slides
Texas
underneath.
Is challenging the safe call at home plate. The call is under further review.
Talk about a tricky slide. The tag goes wide to try to get Moore's body, and the arm goes underneath the glove. Wow! In real time, I thought she was hung out to dry. When we look at that in slow motion, looks like the hand gets into the plate, Pam.
That was an outstanding slide by Maddie Moore, and I agree with you. I was looking down and going, okay, that's the 3rd out. And Katie Stewart threw out someone at the plate yesterday, right? Had a great throw out there in left field, another fine throw. But Maddie Moore, she's gritty, right? She's that kind of a heady player, and that was a great play, and I think she was safe.
We've seen her evolve as a second baseman this season. She's been at third, she's been at short defensively, but her bat is something that you can always rely on, and as a runner, she is heady. To be able to come away with a slide like that in a pressure-filled moment like this, that hand finds a way to get in before the ball tags her body. That is a tricky slide, and the crazy part about it is, Pam, in the Atwood trying to appeal to the umpire to get the out call, the runner never stopped on the bases, and she was able to get all the way to third base. Maddie Moore, MVP of the game so far for Clemson. Holy cow, that was amazing. Obviously, Texas sitting on top, but this is a game-changing play for sure.
So if it's upheld, the run will count. Runners on the corners. With Vieira coming up. It was a good throw by Stewart. We've seen a couple of good throws from her out there in left field the last couple of nights. Noller over at third. Cintron, we think, is going to be credited with the RBI single, and Maddie Moore's looking pretty confident over there in the dugout.
Well, as soon as she popped up, she looked at the umpire and said, Look at that, because you can see the dirt across the plate where that sliding mitt went onto the plate before the tag was applied. And before that hit, Clemson was 5 for 29 in supers with a runner in scoring position. Look at the slide by Maddie Moore. That hand, the tag goes for the body, the hand goes for the plate.
After further review, the call is upheld as safe at home plate. This is Texas's first challenge.
Well, I don't know why people can be upset when we have video to prove that he is. I mean, and when they go home, if they do go back and look at it, they're gonna be probably as surprised as we were, right, that she was called safe. She was safe.
I honestly thought that was going to be the third out of the inning, everybody back to the dugouts, and that safe call surprised me. But then when you go back and look at the review, 100% that hand gets in there. Great slide by Maddie Moore.
So the RBI single for Cintron has her over at first, Nola at third, and Vieira trying to come up with another hit. All the damage done here with 2 outs. And that run so far is an unearned run because they credited Good with an error. Kovan gets out of it, but not before a great slide by Moore, and Clemson gets on the board.
I mean, Texas still has a 3-1 lead, but what a huge play for Clemson to be able to put a run on the board and the tight play at the plate.
Texas Longhorns coming out of the SEC, back-to-back 50-win seasons for the first time in their history. And they were at the top of the polls pretty much all season long. They've been to the Supers every year since Mike White took over. And they're trying to get back to the Women's College World Series again. They're 1 win away.
Well, last season ended the year in the championship series against Oklahoma. I think everybody is still gunning for Oklahoma, who has advanced already to the World Series with their wins over Alabama.
Very impressive run rule win this afternoon to sweep Alabama, Oregon sweeping Liberty, Texas Tech swept Florida State yesterday. So those are the 3 teams that are in. And we are waiting for the Florida-Georgia result tomorrow to see who our winner will play when things get underway Thursday in Oklahoma City. Texas up 3-1 as we head at the bottom of the 3rd inning. Mia Scott singled and was stranded in the 1st inning. Single off Basinger, the departed starter, who just lasted 1 inning plus 3 batters, charged with all 3 runs. Cintron coming in to relieve and got the RBI, and this is that Texas offense so lethal at the top of their lineup. Scott puts a charge into that one, and Brockenbrough just overran it. Stand-up double for Scott to start the 3rd. She's 2 for 2 tonight.
That ball had some giddy up off the bat. It was not high enough to get out of here, but the way that it took off the bat had a little English and caught the air just right. Not only did it get over the head of Brockenbrough, but it crossed her up as it continued to tail to the left side of the field. The way that Mia Scott started it at bat, she looked like she was going to drop a little drag bunt and play with the infield, and then absolutely blasted that ball to the wall. She's got so many tools, but look at the tail on that ball. Started to the right of the Texas sign on the 220, ended up on the other side of it. A lot of spin off the bat.
Scott, her 18th double of the year. She already has Texas's career record for doubles. And gets them off to a great start in the 3rd inning. And here's your conundrum. First base is open. Atwood is up. And they're going to pitch to her.
Pam, this is where you and I obviously are never going to get a Division I coaching job together because you and I
goes without saying
would intentionally walk a lot of people, I think.
Well, Atwood did hit a home run yesterday.
Not only did she get a home run, the one before that home run, went even farther. That ball squeaked over the 10-foot wall out there and left. Her mom was super happy. She was so good in that game behind the plate.
That is an out. Atwood just missed it as it was squeezed comfortably by Johnson over there. Atwood walked twice yesterday. One of them was intentionally. That was after she hit the home run. But that's a big out. Johnson catching it. Mitchell walked to lead off the second and scored. Off of Basinger. Jolie Mitchell, the Notre Dame transfer, finishing out her career. Last 2 seasons now at Texas. We'll go into the medical field.
I like when we talked to her, you looked at her dead in the eye and said, "You graduated from Notre Dame in 3 years?" And she said, "No, my first year was COVID." So graduated from Notre Dame in 4, still had 2 years of eligibility, and took that chance to come here to Austin.
Mitchell with the single. They hold Scott at third base.
I mean, we call it the hot corner for a reason, but right now it is flaming. Alex Brown is getting lit up over there at third base, no matter where she's at. They hold the runner at third, which is an impressive thing to do.
And Brooke McCubbin is going to come in to relieve Cintron. Cintron came in the last inning and got the last 3 outs, gave up an RBI single in between, but that run was credited to Basinger. So here is our third Clemson pitcher, with Texas up 3-1 and threatening in the third. So Brooke McCubbin has come in to relieve Cintron. And we've seen her, again, she has come and relieved in every game in the postseason. Right after Basinger, today we had a little Cintron in between.
Yeah, she's become a consistent reliever in the postseason. Thrown over 160 pitches, over 9 innings of work.
Comes in a sticky situation as Mitchell takes second uncontested with Stewart at the plate.
On the way that she throws, she's going to come with a little bit more velocity. 64 to 65 miles an hour on her curve rise and drop. Just so difficult to face her with her mix of speeds. And there it is. That changeup will be the difference maker. Doesn't just throw a changeup though. She's got 2 different off-speed pitches. An off-speed curve and this one, the off-speed drop. That 12-6 spin.
1-1, tries to bunt, a one-hopper, and now trying to score and doing so successfully. Scott coming in from third, and Mitchell advanced to third.
And base running wins ball games. Pay attention to those of you still playing before college. You have to run the bases well if you want to get far, and that's exactly what Scott was able to do. Waited for the appropriate time to break as McCubbin went to first for the out. Another run for Texas. That's just great base running over there at third.
So to get the run back that they gave up in the top of this inning, a 3-run cushion, good singled and scored. It gets away from Vieira, and in comes run number 5.
Nice job by Jolie Mitchell for Texas, reading that dirt ball read, but that ball, I think, got far enough away from Vieira that maybe I could have scored from the booth. That is not typical for Vieira behind the dish. Usually very solid, keeping that ball in front.
Wild pitch charge to McCubbin.
It ricochets off of the shin guard or off of the heel of her mitt, and when it does, Jolie Mitchell can just walk it in.
Usually Vieira can smother that, but it was a wild pitch, and there's a strike on the corner to good. So now the bases are empty with 2 runs in and 2 away and a 3-1 count. McCubbin trying to keep Clemson within striking distance right now with Caban in the circle.
And you can look at that stride foot for good right now. She's got a couple touches before she goes to that stride. Typically, you like to see a hitter with a very calm move in their stride foot. But she's got a couple touches. Little antsy in the box right now.
Off of McCubbin. And the throw by Brown, not in time. Good on for the second time tonight. And the crowd is definitely into it.
Well, Pam, Texas Longhorns have seen these pitchers so many times. There are not a lot of arms that John Rittman trusts to go to. That is a hard shot right back at McCubbin off of her leg. I like the recovery of the Clemson defense to still try to get the out. But in this situation, Texas is very familiar with the arms in the circle for Clemson, and they are taking advantage of the work that they've put in games 1 and 2 to just step in the box with a lot of confidence.
Texas winning in 10 innings yesterday. They were down 4-3 after 4 innings. First time that Clemson has lost a game in which they led after 4 innings all season. Had to go to 10, and now Quiroga trying to keep the hit party going. She struck out swinging against Cintron when she came in to relieve Basinger in the last inning. Lifts that one out of play.
I mean, this Texas team is swinging hot bats. They are #1 in the nation with hits. They put the ball in play. They allow their wheels to work. And right now, they're facing some arms in the circle that they are very familiar with and taking advantage of that information.
Quiroga DPing for the second straight game. And McCubbin gets her to end the inning, but 2 more runs cross the plate for Texas, including Jolie Mitchell, who celebrates. It's 5-1 Texas. Texas leading Clemson 5-1 as we head to the 4th inning, joined by John Rittman, the head coach for Clemson. And Coach, you know, your team has been the comeback kids all year, coming from behind all 3 games in the ACC tournament. What needs to happen tonight to make that happen again?
Just keep fighting, keep executing at the plate. I mean, obviously they got a powerful offense. We got to try to keep them off base. Mixing up the pitching staff. You saw Cintron. I thought she gave us a couple of good outs there, and obviously she came up with a big hit. But we just got to keep fighting and clawing, and I know this team will do it. They're gritty. They play free. They're having a lot of fun, and that's what you need in a championship game. And they're a never-say-die team, so let's see if we can muster up some more runs here in the next couple innings.
Well, and both of these teams very familiar with the arms that they're facing in the circle, so to put more runs up on the board, what do you need your hitters to do?
Oh, I think attack, strikes. You know, it's tough. I mean, she's certainly an All-American for a reason, and but I thought we've done a pretty good job tonight, honestly. I mean, we've had a couple runners in scoring position and got the big timely hit there. We just need to create havoc and keep working and be patiently aggressive. If she gives us something in the zone that we can drive, we've got to take advantage of it.
Okay, still plenty of outs left. Thank you so much, Coach. John Rittman, the head coach of Clemson. But they are down 5-1. They are on their 3rd pitcher. Meanwhile, Tegan Caban, who has appeared in all 3 games, started and lost on Friday, won in relief yesterday, and is back out there starting this evening. Pam Moore, Jenny Dalton-Hill from a very full McCombs Field in Austin. Marion Collins swings, and Stewart back, and it hits off the base of that 10-foot wall. Collins gets into second. The throw got there quickly, but on the wrong side of the bag, and Collins leads off the 4th with the double.
Nice hit out to left. Played perfectly by Katie Stewart out there in left. You can tell there's home field advantage. With the 10-foot wall, if the ball doesn't go out, it typically ricochets right to her. played it perfectly, throw just a little bit offline.
Collins with her 16th double of the season. The true freshman on this team. And that is her third double of this super regional.
Yeah, Collins was also the hitter that performed the squeeze bunt to win that 1-0 game in regionals against Northwestern. She's been asked to do a lot. Young freshman that is coming through in big ways for Clemson.
Both of these teams sweeping through their regionals. Texas with an offensive explosion on their part last weekend. Taylor Pipkins, another freshman up. We've talked about Clemson leaving a lot of runners in scoring position, and that's because, Jen, they're not getting. We did see Cintron get a big hit in the last half inning, or the last inning, but in this super regional, they're 1 for 30 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, I think even you know that that's probably not the number that they need.
Check that, 6 for 30.
That's still not the number.
That's still not good. It's still
need.
200. 1 for 30 would be awful. 6 for 30, not good. Kennedy Ariel in to run over at second for Collins. Pipkins grounded out to short her first time up against Kavan. There's Reese Basinger cheering in the dugout. The lifted starter, and okay, Kavan gives up the walk. Let's get you to Matt Schick, who has an update. Yeah, we've had a lot of game threes forced today, and Kylie Johnson, who has been struggling, struck out against Kavan again in her first bat tonight. And here comes the pinch hitter, and it's Haley Whitesides. First time we have seen her this weekend.
Well, how about Bree Ellis for Arkansas getting her first hit on the weekend? I mean, Bree Ellis, one of the best hitters in the country.
Bree Ellis. Goodness sakes. Here's Whitesides. I did edit myself. Whitesides goes after the first pitch. Caught out in center field by Henry, but deep enough for Ariel, the pinch runner, to tag and go to third with one away.
And while that's an out, Pam, I think that might give enough confidence to John Rittman to perhaps leave Whitesides in the game out in left to give them a little bit better production down in that 8 spot.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Johnson really has been scuffling. Now, when she gets hits, they're big hits. They're home runs. Typically, she hit the 2-run home run to win the ACC championship in the 7th inning against Florida State. But she has not been able to figure out Kavan this weekend. Jamison Brockenbrough, the number 9 hitter, with the chance to drive in a run. Brockenbrough, the Tennessee transfer, did play in the World Series with them. But this is her first year at Clemson.
Yeah, in this Clemson lineup, Brockenbrough has the most college World Series experience, being there with Tennessee a year ago.
The only one on the roster to have gone to Oklahoma City. Conversely, with Texas, they're chock full of them since they went last year and the year before that as well, both times losing in the championship series to Oklahoma, who is trying to win its 5th straight as they go to their 9th straight Women's College World Series this year. Brockenbrough down 1-2, doesn't chase. Reese Atwood with the gun. Ariel, the pinch runner, had to dive back.
That is so fun to watch. I love when Reese Atwood gets aggressive with the base runners, challenging them to say, stay closer to the bag. Remember, she's only allowed 9 stolen bases this season.
It's remarkable. Opposing teams have only attempted 14 steals against Texas all year. That's up and in. And especially there with the left-handed batter, the clear view for Atwood, nobody in the batter's box, and she's got one heck of an arm, and we all know she can hit.
I think that's why John Rittman is not trying to steal with runners on the corners and less than 2 outs. He doesn't want to take a chance. He doesn't want to trade an out for a run at this point in the game.
Full count. That's lifted to Stewart in left field. Should be deep enough. Second sac fly of the inning for Clemson. Rockenborough gets the RBI as Ariel crosses the plate.
And with a 4-run lead, that sac fly doesn't even phase Kavan in the circle. Obviously, Clemson trying to scratch things out, but Texas still in control of this game.
Lead sliced to 3 now with 2 outs. Top of the order, and Alex Brown, who has walked and popped up. Brown this year set a new Clemson single season record for runs scored. Another visit by Patty Ruth Taylor. Vaughn has already thrown 73 pitches. Texas has Mac Morgan, who has not pitched in the postseason, or at least in the NCAA tournament, along with Cambria Salmon again, who started yesterday. Morgan on the right.
That visit to the circle was definitely not going to be a pitching change. I think that was more just strategy as Clemson was able to flip back over to the top of the lineup, and those potent hitters are now coming to the plate.
There takes a strike.
Just doing such a good job of keeping the ball top of the strike zone, getting called tonight, but man, that's a pitch I would attack. Nice little cookie.
Oh, and that hit Brown, and that sets up Maddie Moore, the best power hitter for this Clemson team. Moore reached on an error and then scored with a magnificent slide in her last at bat.
And that's just a scary ball coming into the box, because typically when a ball rides high and in, you should turn that front side back towards the catcher to protect yourself. But you have to be aggressive against Kavan, so your hips have to open and fire, and that leaves you very vulnerable to that pitch up and in to wear it, just like Alex Brown did.
Big opportunity for Moore with 2 out and 2 on.
So smart to start her with a changeup. You know Maddie Moore's looking velocity. She wants to jack a ball out of this stadium. So to start her with some slow stuff, so smart by Kavan.
And Moore delivers with the base hit to center field. They're waving home Pipkins. And Maddie Moore cuts the lead to 2.
When you're a senior, the game, even in pressure-filled situations, slows down. And right now it looks like Maddie Moore is super comfortable. The way that she's playing defense, the way that she's hitting at the plate, the way that she was able to slide in and get the first run of the game for Clemson. So important to have senior leadership like Maddie Moore in these tight situations at the end of the season.
Julia Moeller has single tonight off of Kavan. They're part of the senior class, and we are going to get a change. We will.
That is unexpected. I thought Kavan was going to go the distance here tonight. In her sophomore season, she's been rolling. Now, as the starter, she can still come back in the game at a later time, but Mike White looking to make a change here in the 4th.
She has pitched in all 3 games in the Supers. One in relief last night. And Mac Morgan, the senior who has seen her innings dwindle this season, gets the ball. A big ovation for Kavan. We'll have more on Morgan when we come back. Texas has made a pitching change, and it's Mac Morgan making her first appearance since the SEC tournament.
Yeah, that game against Texas A&M that got away from the Longhorns allowed 5 earned runs in her last appearance. That was a struggle for Texas, but she comes in here now with a couple-run lead.
And that was a game in which Texas was run-ruled, an early exit in the SEC tournament. She did not pitch at all. Has not since then. This is Julia Noller.
And Mac Morgan will not be finishing this game, typically used to just get through the lineup once. She is a 90% drop ball pitcher. She is going to fill the bottom of the zone and try to induce a ton of ground balls to get out of this inning.
Just 66 innings on the season. After last year, she went 16-1 through 107 innings. We saw her up to and including the World Series.
Yeah, she's improved her changeup, but she's not got a great strikeout to walk ratio. Coming in here tonight, 34 strikeouts, 16 walks in those 66 and a third innings pitch. So more a pitch to contact kind of pitcher, not trying to blow it by anybody with the strikeout, just trying to induce a ton of ground balls and let her defense get her out of the inning.
Played by Good, throws across to get Noller and end the inning. Morgan does her job, stranding the 2 inherited runners, but a couple of more runs for Clemson. They're down 5-3 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. With Texas up 5-3, we are joined now by Mike White, the head coach for Texas, and Tegan Kavan, you just lifted her. What were you seeing that you thought you had to make the change?
I was just getting a little behind in counts there, and just looked like she was losing a little bit of velocity as well.
Well, it's been fun listening to her talk about how you teach her how to pitch and see pitches. But when your hitters go to the plate, very comfortable hitting against McCubbin, what do you need them to do here tonight?
I do the same thing. Just we've seen her enough right now. We just gotta stay patient, let the ball get to us, and hit that changeup too.
Okay, Coach White, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Hook 'em.
So Brooke McCubbin, the third pitcher that we've seen from Clemson tonight. There's Kavan's numbers, giving up 3 runs, 2 of them earned. And as Jenny mentioned, because she is a starter, can indeed come back.
Yeah, I do not anticipate that Mike White has told her she's done for the night. I think that she's going to stay warm and ready to be able to come back into this game and perhaps close it out.
The winner of this game goes to Oklahoma City to play the winner of Florida, Georgia on Thursday in the Women's College World Series. A lot of game 3s, including this one. Arkansas up 4-0 in the 6th as they try to force a game 3 against Ole Miss.
This is a pivotal out for McCubbin. If she can get to flip the lineup with 1 out, it's going to help her a whole lot more, knowing that she keeps speed off the bases for the hottest hitters in the lineup at the top.
4 of the 5 runs scored have come from the bottom 5 hitters. Good speed, so Moore had to hurry to get Bennett. Now we do see the top of the lineup, and Ashton Maloney, an RBI single her last time up. That was against Basinger, the starter. And Basinger is back in the Clemson bullpen. Chopped, McCubbin handles it, and Noller can't come up with it. A gift puts Maloney on second base.
And that is just a lack of focus over there at first base. That was a gimme for an out. A chop, a gift from Maloney to Noller. I don't know what happened there, Pam. That was it. I was already starting to write down 1 to 3 for the out. As a first baseman, when you come back to cover the bag, your job is to stay in an athletic position. And when Noller came back to the bag, she stayed very tall. So with the throw going down, I don't know that she had set herself up athletically to be able to receive that throw.
It's a throwing error on the pitcher, McCubbin. And Henry shows bunt. And you see the dancing around over there at second by Maloney with no one covering the bag.
Well, with the bunt being shown, it makes your shortstop go to third and your second baseman go to first and leaves second base wide open to allow that to happen. Defense respecting the speed of Henry at the plate. The corners have to challenge her.
Vieira picks it up, and that's Maloney now with 3 free bases.
And this is just shooting yourself in the foot. When we started this game, we talked about the things that Clemson was going to need to make sure they took care of, and it was defense. They allowed 2 errors in the first game, 2 errors in the second game, and another here tonight. It's that defense that keeps being the Achilles heel for them. It's hard to out-hit defensive miscues.
And especially a team like Texas, which again is one of the best offensive teams in the country, second to Indiana in team batting average, 4th in RBIs, 85 home runs on the season. So you keep giving them extra outs, it's going to bite you.
And it has. Last night, tonight, just difficult to have those moments. It takes the wind out of your sails, too. As a defender, when you've got a comebacker, you think it's a for sure out, it's going to be the second out of the inning. All of a sudden, now you've got a runner at second base, and it's speed and the power of the lineup coming up for Texas. Talked to Coach White about why he puts Caden Henry in the number 2 spot instead of in the leadoff, and he said Ashton Maloney does a great job on the bases, gives us good looks at the plate, and then Caden Henry swings away with power too.
Ooh, Vieira had to block that one. Throwing error by McCubbin, and then the wild pitch sending Maloney over to third.
And ball in the dirt, your job as a catcher is to get back behind, get that throwing hand back behind the glove to keep it protected. Looked like she might have jammed up her finger trying to get it back there quickly to block.
Vieira has been a mainstay behind the plate for Clemson. Now a senior. Chopper to Moore, who gets the out. Bennett. Maloney, comes in to score the unearned run.
So important to take advantage of the miscues, and that's exactly what Texas was able to do. Punching around another run. There's nothing that Maddie Moore can do but just get the out at first.
So that leaves the bases empty now with 2 away from Mia Scott, who is 2 for 2 tonight. Both of those hits coming off of Basinger. Moore throws her out to end the inning, but more defensive issues for Clemson leads to an unearned run. They're down by 3 as we head to the 5th. Clemson's program, it should be in kindergarten. It's just its 5th full season. John Rittman hired 3 years before they started play, but in 2020, it was a COVID-shortened season.
It was, and with that, they got an additional year of practice, and in their first full season, won the ACC regular season title. A couple of years later, guess what? ACC tournament champions beat Florida State 2-1. have made 5 appearances in the NCAA tournament, and that's every year that they have played a full season.
They have been now to 3 super regionals. Thursday was their first super regional win after going 0-2 in their first 2 appearances. They bowed out in a regional last year, and right now they find themselves down by 3 as we hit the 5th inning. Texas forcing game 3 with a win yesterday in 10 innings. Mac Morgan relieved Kavan to get the final out of the 4th inning, getting Noller to ground out. Again, the first time Morgan has pitched since the SEC tournament. Morgan spent her freshman year at Arizona State. She made the all-freshman team in the late, great Pac-12.
It hurts my heart to hear that.
I'm still in denial.
I am too, but Pam, I think we're going to need to get over it because it is now being called the Power 4, not the Power 5. And Texas and Oklahoma are in the SEC.
Yes.
Who knew?
UCLA with a dramatic come-from-behind win this afternoon to force a game 3 in their super regional.
Oh yeah, and UCLA plays in the Big Ten.
The Big Ten.
Craziness.
Texas and Oklahoma making a strong SEC softball conference even stronger. Bennett throws out. Cintron. More softball on your way tomorrow. And this is what we have scheduled so far with network assignments. At 2 Eastern time, it's Nebraska at Tennessee. Tennessee forced the game 3. UCLA with that 2-out, 2-run homer to win today. Plays on ESPN2 at 3. And then Georgia, Florida follows Tennessee on ESPN. And the winner of that game will play the winner of this game in Oklahoma City. Morgan, 1 pitch, gets Vieira.
That Jordan Woolery home run by UCLA, 2 outs. I mean, talk about clutch. Then when they talked with Patty Gasso, the coach for Oklahoma, during their game, she said, I think the word is clutchness. She said, I know that that's not a word in the dictionary, but it should be because she's got some players on her team coming through in those tight spots too.
And Marion Collins trying to get on. She had or scored a run, I should say, at her last plate appearance, had a double. And when we talked to Coach Whitman earlier this week, he said Taylor Pipkins, who was on deck, was his clutchest hitter. So variations of clutch. But you're right, that Woolery home run. Whew. Scott! Outright thievery at third base. And Clemson goes down in order.
Mia Scott playing that hot corner. She can cover the line, getting that white uniform dirty, blowing the bubbles, and getting out of the inning.
Clemson down 6-3. Let's go back to the 3rd inning. We've had some unconventional scoring. That's pretty conventional. Citron with the RBI single. Scored Maddie Moore with a masterful slide. Yes, she was safe. And then she claps in Atwood's face. And then great aggressive base running by Texas. A pass ball by McCubbin allows Jolie Mitchell to score. We have had no home runs in this game. Texas 6 runs on 7 hits and 1 error as Atwood just pounds another one foul. Clemson 3 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. The winner goes to the World Series. And here is the nation's leader in RBIs leading off the bottom of the 5th.
Well, the only way she's going to get another one here is with a poke over the wall because there's nobody on as she starts off the inning.
Atwood hit one out last night.
She just stings the ball so hard down that third base line. She gets great bat speed through the zone. Typically, when you see a player diving into the plate with that front foot, they struggle on the inside pitch, but she does a really good job of extension and getting that barrel out in front.
And the most RBIs in Texas history So many great players that have come through here, and she still has one more year left to build on that. Nice pitch by McCubbin.
Well, and that's the pitch that Coach White said they need to do a better job on, be more competitive on that changeup. In a 2-1 count, there's no need to swing at that pitch, but that shows you where the emotion of Atwood is. She's ready to be a slugger at the plate. Mature at-bats allow you to be patient and take your walk. Atwood right now pressing to get a big hit.
Good backhand over there by Brown, throws across to get Atwood to start the 5th.
Well, if you look at where Atwood or where Brown was playing, she was well behind third base, which gave her time to get that sharply hit ball down the line on a backhand. It was when she was playing in front of the bag, she didn't have enough time to react to those sharply hit balls. Strong throw. Nola rings in the first out.
Now Mitchell, who has scored twice, has walked and singled. We've seen Brooke McCubbin relieve Reese Basinger in games 1 and 2. Tonight she came in after Cintron threw a bit. You see the comparisons. She picked up a win. Or actually McCubbin 0-1 coming in. Basinger picked up the win. The one win here in the Supers. And that was in game 1.
They've been the trusted 1-2 punch through the postseason. At the ACC championship, Basinger and McCubbin came back for the biggest comeback win in ACC championship history, defeating Virginia Tech in the rain, and McCubbin was the reason. She stepped into the circle in the pouring rain, threw strikes, and shut down Virginia Tech.
Basinger clapping there in the middle in the dugout. Olivia Duncan now throwing in the Clemson bullpen as Mitchell draws the one-out walk.
And it sounds as though someone's picked up the changeup. That whistle late means somebody saw the grip, or McCubbin is tipping that pitch somehow. That whistle is a tip-off to the hitters that a changeup's on its way. Nobody's hitting trash cans.
No. Thank goodness those days are over.
So when that happens at a game and you hear that a player has picked up, or a team has picked up a changeup or picked up a certain pitch and is signaling it into the players, your job as the rest of the dugout is be loud enough that you can disguise that whistle. There needs to be more noise coming out of the Clemson dugout to allow the hitter not to hear that whistle. So important to try to combat when a pitcher's been picked, to try to find a way to disrupt a hitter from understanding the message. But now everybody at home is listening for the whistle too.
Stewart doubled and scored back in the 2nd inning. And she is rung up.
And the hard thing about it is if you start to trust that you're going to get tipped off when the changeup is coming, then you're not ready to react on your own. You start relying on the tip-off. She didn't hear the tip-off and left the bat on the shoulder.
Leanne Good continues her nice weekend. Couple of singles and runs driven in. Now with 2 outs. So important for Clemson to keep runs off the board if they want to come back with just 6 outs remaining. And Good does it again. She is 7 for 11 in this super regional. And 3 for 3 tonight, Jen.
Playing with so much confidence right now. That 5-6 hole left open, and you saw that bullet spin. As soon as you see that dot, it means the ball is not breaking. It's coming in on a trajectory that it will just stay on without sharp break. Stayed on top of it, drove it in the 5-6 hole. Nothing that the defense can do but watch the base runners advance.
For Texas, now batting for Vanessa Quiroga, number 12.
So Quiroga, the DP, has been lifted for a pinch hitter. It's Victoria Hunter, who was the DP in Game 1 on Thursday. Game, Hunter was 0 for 3, did not play or get a plate appearance yesterday. Top to Brown, who just has to step on third to end the inning, and she does. So Texas up by 3. We go to the 6th in Austin.
One of the keys for the game for Clemson was to make sure that they clean things up defensively. Well, they've had some miscues defensively here tonight. Texas sitting with the advantage because of some misplayed balls. Balls on the ground, wild pitches allowing runs to score, balls over the head of the outfielders, and then a throwing error by the pitcher that got by Julia Noller at first base. It's been a night of miscues for Clemson.
A couple of wild pitches and an error. One unearned run scored for Texas as we head to the top of the 6th inning. And Taylor Pipkins leading things off, 7-8-9. Pipkins, Johnson, and Brockenbrough due up. Working against Mac Morgan. Came in to relieve Tegan Cavan with 1 out in the 4th inning and has retired all 4 of the batters she faced so far. But the last out of the last inning was just a tremendous play at third by Mia Scott to rob Marion Collins of what looked like a double that was going to be heading down the line.
Yeah, Mia Scott so good on the hot corner. I don't anticipate Mac Morgan going much more than once through the lineup, but she's doing a good job of just filling the bottom of the zone with strikes, and her defense is showing up behind her.
That pitcher they have not seen.
And you know what's coming. She will throw a changeup every now and again, but 90% of the time you are going to see a drop ball at the bottom of the zone. So move up in the box, catch the ball before it breaks.
Pipkins with the swing and the miss to start the 6th.
A little zippy zip on that one. That one had some good velo down in the zone. Nice sharp break on the drop. Coach talks about how she gets great vertical drop on that drop ball. Nice little strikeout.
Now Kylie Johnson, who is pinch hit for in her last at bat. Probably happy to see Morgan, happy to see somebody other than Tegan Cavan, who has befuddled her all weekend.
She's had her number, that's for sure.
Johnson striking out 3 times against Cavan in the last 2 games, including tonight. Four times overall, Cavan has struck out Johnson, now getting her first look at Morgan. Good at shortstop. Textbook. 2 away. And the We talked to John Rittman. He talked about how his team is never going to give up, never say die, and this is why. 23 come from behind wins this season, all 3 in the ACC tournament, and the 23 is tied for most in the country. They're going to need 24 tonight to keep their season alive.
Well, and he's talked about how the focus of the year is to just have fun, and in having fun, they've been able to keep their emotions down, allowing for the grit to show all the way through the game and fight from behind so many times this year.
Jamison Brockenbrough, number 9 batter, had an RBI sac fly in her last plate appearance. We're going to set down all 6 batters she has faced tonight since coming in to relieve Kavan. And what a spot to put her in, right? She hasn't pitched in a couple of weeks. There's Teagan cheering on in the dugout. Morgan, it knocked the glove off her hand. Mia Scott picked it up. Brockenbrough runs really well, but Mia Scott plays third base really well too. That's 2 straight inning-ending great defensive plays by the third baseman.
Mac Morgan blocked it up, so she gets the assist. Not often do you get to write in your scorebook 1, 5, 3 to finish out the inning.
Thank you, Mac and Tori and Jenny. I have my own Jenny here, Jenny Dalton Hill. Pam Ward with you, and absolutely right. Clemson running out of outs. They need 3 runs and have 6 outs to do it. And right now, Texas comes up in the bottom of the 6th inning. 9 1-2 hitters, Bennett, Maloney, and Henry. Foul ball as Bennett tried to bunt her way on. Clemson winning game 1 on Thursday night, and then the 10-inning marathon last night that Texas won. John Rittman, the head coach for Clemson. Key now to not allow any more runs. And Clemson actually just with 3 more outs as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning here. And looking ahead to the 7th, which I will do right now. It's going to be the top of the order for Clemson. Have to be fast over there, Collins was. And threw out Bennett to start the 6th.
So important on the quick transfer at that shortstop spot. Didn't have time to run through that one. So the nice pick, transfer, and throw across to get the speedy Bennett. So important before you flip it back over to the top of the lineup for Texas.
And it's Ashton Maloney who in the 4th inning reached on an error and eventually scored. There's her 2nd hit of the night. Maloney, the singles specialist.
Well, and at the top of the lineup, she just sets the tone so well. In her last hit, she hit it right back up the middle. But in that one, McCubbin was able to get it. It was a throwing error that put her on. Well, now you got speed at first. Maloney with 11 stolen bases on the year. And with Caden Henry up at the plate, you've got power and speed coming at you.
Henry takes a strike to start off her at bat. She got a ground out RBI to send in Maloney in her last at bat. Maloney has to get back to first, and Caden Henry, just a sophomore, 2nd team All-SEC. He's a terrific sprinter in high school and has got quite the personality on this team.
Yeah, we asked if Coach White had any nicknames. She said, "Oh, you mean Pawpaw White?"
Oh, that hardly ever happens. Maddie Moore has made an error.
And that one's going to haunt her because that is a play that she makes in her sleep. The problem with it is she has a base runner running right in front of her, and that catches her eye, thinking she's going to be able to make the tag and throw for the double play, but hadn't secured the ball in the glove. Super important to make the play on the ball before you make the play on the runner. I've been there. Difficult moment for the senior at second.
2 errors in each game now of this 3-game Super Regional. And here comes Mia Scott to be followed by Atwood, just 1 out and 2 on. And that is the Mia Scott chant.
How do you know?
I guessed. I heard it.
Oh, God.
Mia Scott. Here comes John Whitman.
And there's been nobody up in the pen for Clemson. I don't know if this is a visit. This is not probably a visit to relieve McCubbin. She's going to be the one that they trust down the stretch. This is more just settling the defense down after that Maddie Moore error at second base. There's Basinger, the starter in the dugout. She can come back in as the starter, but I would anticipate that McCubbin will go the distance in this one for Clemson.
And perhaps that Mia Scott chant was because this could very well be Mia Scott's last at-bat ever in Austin. What a tremendous career she has had. Most runs, most doubles, second in hits and RBI, third in average. And her season average right now behind Janae Jefferson, who hit 446 back in 2021. So one of the all-time greats, and we've seen her make 2 really good plays at third.
Well, she's been so good in her senior campaign. Here tonight, both sides of the ball on full display for the senior.
And a chance to bust this open.
And there was a game this year where Mia Scott played all 9 positions on the field. All 10. She was they put her in as a DP as well. So she played 10 positions in one game. Some of the players didn't even know it was happening until she was about 5 positions in. She was kind of bragging to the pitching staff about how she was going to do so well in the circle. Unfortunately, she's got a 21 ERA.
And she goes down looking for the second out of the 6th.
That's a huge strikeout for McCubbin. Typically, you see a determined Mia Scott in the box, but left the bat on her shoulder the whole time.
You get Scott, and then you have to deal with Atwood. Atwood having a spectacular postseason. Today's 0 for 3 notwithstanding, hitting .550 in the postseason after hitting .409 in the regular season. She's special. Look at the numbers in the tournament.
Well, and that smile tells you she's comfortable in the box.
500 just in the NCAA tournament alone, and that's because she's 0 for 3 tonight. Doesn't take many callers. Atwood was the Big 12 Player of the Year last year, set a season record for home runs with 23. She's sitting on 21 right now. Now the full count with 2 out and 2 on. Atwood sends one back.
We talk about it all the time. Is when a hitter fouls a ball straight back, it means they just missed their spot. Their timing was right on. They're going to need to disrupt that. Atwood has shown that she's got a ton of pop.
Picked up and stepped on third by Alex Brown to retire Atwood, who takes a rare 0 for 4. But this is it. Texas 3 outs away from the Women's College World Series. Clemson needing at least 3 runs to keep it going. Welcome to Austin, a great look. Downtown Austin, we are here, and the fans are on their feet. Texas 3 outs away from making its 3rd World Series in the last 4 years. But the Clemson Tigers, they have been the comeback kids all year, especially in the postseason. Top of the order coming up, Mac Morgan has set down all 7 batters that she has faced since coming in to relieve Tegan Cavan. Alex Brown really good at getting on base, swings to it, she's down 0-2.
Even when you know Mac Morgan is going to throw you a drop ball, it is so hard to get that barrel out in front to catch it before the break.
Brown, a senior. Freshman year at North Carolina, last 3 years with Clemson. Tegan Cavan is throwing in the pen, was the starter and lifted for Morgan with 2 outs in the 4th, and can re-enter in case Morgan gets into a little bit of trouble, but she is not allowed a base runner yet.
Good spot, well off the plate, trying to play off the emotion of Brown, knowing that Clemson just has 3 outs to tie this game up. Thought she might have had a free swinger at the plate.
Chance for Scott, who's been brilliant at third. Low throw, Mitchell couldn't scoop it, so Clemson gets the lead runner on.
Well, when you're throwing on the run, you've got to make sure that you stay low, open up those shoulders to first base. While the throw was on line, I think Mia Scott might have stood up a little too high to come away with that throw. You need to keep those shoulders low, move through that.
It is an error on the first baseman Mitchell, so an E3. Maddie Moore hits it to her counterpart at second, Bennett. So Moore is retired. Brown goes into second.
First baseman, Julian Moeller.
That's a big out for Morgan. And the error, putting Brown on base, is the first base runner that Morgan has allowed tonight since coming on in the 4th.
And the message you need to be reminding your defense is that run at second base does not matter. There is no need to allow the pressure of a runner at second base get to you. Just get the out at first base and let her move across.
Noller was the first batter that Morgan faced when she came into the game in the 4th. She came in with 2 outs and 2 on, and she got Morgan to ground out to short to end the inning. A second chance for Noller with a runner in scoring position. Lifted into left field, long run for Stewart. Great effort, but couldn't come up with it.
She had a lot of real estate to cover to try to come away with that one, but I love an outfielder who is willing to dive like that in foul territory. Not coming away with it hurts nothing, but go for glory on that one.
Stewart, who had been the shortstop, had some struggles there in game 1 and has played well in left field since moving there. Good over at shortstop, solidifying that side of the infield. 2-2 with Brown over at second.
In this situation, all the pressure is on the batter. All the pressure in this game sits at the feet of Clemson. As a defender for Texas, your job is to just relax, play free, get the outs that roll your way. But a great battle at the plate by Noller, just spoiling pitches, keeping the at-bat alive, and the hope for Clemson.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat is lifted to Henry, who goes back, and the ball goes over the wall. Noller sent one into center field. The ball kept traveling, and it's a two-run shot. Clemson now only down one.
The comeback kids are still alive. Pam, we've seen this story play out so many times for the Clemson Tigers. When they've got outs to play with, they make the most of them. This ball down in the zone, you know it's going to be a drop ball. But Mac Morgan did not hit a corner. She left it right down the heart of the plate, down in the zone. Noller coming away with a huge swing, 15th home run of the year, and now Clemson within one.
Clearing that center field wall, which is 10 feet high and 220 feet from home plate. She gets the chain. They also have a golden bat that every home run hitter signs. The manager just gave it to her now. And as we said, if they get 24 comeback wins, that means they're going to the World Series. And they break that tie for most in Division I in style. Texas has not lost a game this year when they led going into the 7th inning. So there's a lot on the line, but most importantly, a spot in the World Series. So now it's just a one-run game. Cintron, DP, who came into pitch for an inning and a third after Basinger, the starter, was lifted. A home run by Noller, the first hit allowed by Morgan. Inside.
That's a really good spot, and that's exactly where she needs to live, on the corners. Drop ball pitchers can be hittable if they leave them down the middle of the plate. That's what happened with that home run swing.
And after the home run, Cintron draws a walk. So the tying run on first base with Vieira coming up. Kavon had been warming in the bullpen, but Atwood goes out with some words of encouragement for Morgan. And a pinch runner coming in for Cintron. It's Ava Wilson. Morgan had retired all of the 7 batters she had faced, her first 7 since coming in to relieve Kavon. Since then, an error, a ground out, a 2-run home run by Noller, and the walk to Cintron. And Morgan's 50th pitch of the night is taken inside. Vieira, high chopper, fielded by Scott, 2 away, with Wilson now down at second, and Collins coming up.
In this inning, every senior that has come to the plate has gotten out. It's the underclassmen who have been able to be successful. So with 2 outs, a runner on second, they send a freshman to the plate to try to win.
And it is Marion Collins, who has doubled and scored in this game. The true freshman shortstop who had committed to Charlotte. And then the coaching change. Their coach going over to South Carolina, doing great things, and reopened her recruiting process. And came to Clemson. Fans on their feet at McCombs Field, with Texas now 1 out away from the World Series. And a freshman at the plate. Morgan gloves it! And the Texas Longhorns, for the third time in 4 years, can pack their bags to go to Oklahoma City.
Texas started the night in control. Big hits, big defensive plays, and they showed up well in the circle.
Texas lost the first game of the Super Regional. Mike White has lost 7 straight game ones of Supers, and all but one time they've come back to win the Super Regional, and that's Maddie Moore, one of the seniors. What a great season for Clemson. The ACC tournament champs coming up just 1 win short, but it's the Texas Longhorns. They're getting used to that trip. What is that, up I-35 to go to Oklahoma City? Capital One rewarding performance tonight. Mia Scott.
Not only did she produce with the bat tonight, but defensively she showed up so well on the hot corner. You don't win ball games without big defensive plays like that. And Mia Scott coming away with some key moments to keep runners off the base paths, score runs at the plate, and she heads back to OKC to finish out her collegiate career.
The last 2 trips in the previous 3 years ended with championship series losses to Oklahoma. And the winner of tomorrow's Georgia-Florida game will be the opponent for Texas, as they will play in Gainesville tomorrow. Whoever wins that moves on to Oklahoma City. But Mia Scott and the rest of the Texas Longhorns with the win. Mac Morgan, brilliant in relief. For Jenny Dalton-Hill and the rest of our terrific crew, Todd Koulis, our producer, Paul Druzniak, our director, and all the folks back home, I'm Pam Ward saying good night from Austin. Let's get you to Sports Center.